So what's worse than another TCM update getting delayed, you may ask? Getting the most shittiest cosmetic pack gifted ever.
Kill yourself!
How about a family main makes a victim tier list? Yeah, you heard it right. I'm going to be finally making a victim tier list after how long it's been since I dropped my initial family tier list? Oh my god, it's older than the average Twitter user their mentality age. God damn, bruh. Now hold up, let me pull on a call real quick for protection, because I know people are gonna be saying, you can't make the list, you don't play victim enough, you're a dirty family main. Nuh-uh, I can do whatever the fuck I want, I love free will. Now, yeah, I do play victim here and there. I'm actually doing the same thing like I did for family, where I level up all the perks to level 3 on all the fucking victims, and yeah, this is just a work in progress you're seeing right now. I can also prove this further because I don't play like a bot and cry like a bot when I have to deal with Johnnies. So please, take a seat and listen to my amazing wisdom, because this motherfucker is balding. The way we will be working with this tier list, or how I'll be working with this tier list better said, is the same like my family tier list. Base attributes, no extras, no perks, and of course, abilities without tiers attached to them. Now please keep in mind, this video is entirely based on my thoughts and feelings, no influence from other people. You are allowed to share your thoughts and feelings as well, but you have to keep in mind that I'm working with the conditions I mentioned beforehand, and please just keep it civil. Why do we live in a timeline where people still get upset over pixels being put somewhere else? Well, with that out of the way, enjoy the video and let's get to tiering, shall we? So, I have made the tiers, and let me demonstrate them real quick. We have Pay to Win, Wood Smash, Meat Shield, Liberal, It's Just a Joke, and Gallow Intro. Now, we're going to start off with the bottom tier with Gallow Intro, and the irony is very hard with this one, considering Maria, out of all characters, is the only victim in the game to not have a Gallow Intro scene for the family. Now, after she got resurrected from her death, apparently, I honestly hadn't kept up with the lore in a while, she did in fact still had to prove that she in fact had the Flores genes running through her just like her sister Anna, and the attributes pretty much scream similarity, which I personally don't have a problem with, but yeah, still. The only downside to why she's in the lowest tier is because of her ability. Now, there are some instances where any victim their ability cannot bring any value, but that's just a skill issue for dying in the basement. Maria is the only victim where your ability will actually get zero benefit, whether you win the game or lose the game. And that's for a simple reason. The rush meta is big, and most experienced family players do not feed Grandpa, which causes Grandpa not to get levels. Now, in order to get Maria's ability to work, Grandpa has to be definitely level 1 or get leveled up. Otherwise, if bro just stays level 0, then congratulations, you just whispered some nonsense into his ear. Now, let's say you're dealing against a family squad that feeds the fuck out of Grandpa, or just a silly bones with blood spark plugs, then yeah, sure, Maria can definitely have some value. But, as I said before, this is the only ability for victims where you can sometimes have zero value at all, which is pretty much poop. Hence why Maria is the lowest tier for me. Now, moving on to the next tier. Now, we have Julie and Wyatt in this. Now, reminder, we are not working with extra ability levels or perks, so before you say, but Wyatt has an instant turn-off ability, just a casual reminder for the people that have Alzheimer's or dementia. Now, Wyatt, I'd say solid attributes, but the ability, it's kinda hit or miss, literally. I mean, you can attempt a snipe shot or anything, or just throw a knife at a Leatherface that's rampaging towards you with an overhead, but if you miss, then, oh boy, your soul just left your body. Now, I'm gonna be straight up honest real quick. If we were to actually include ability levels in this, Wyatt would be probably A to S tier. But if we like fully avoid that, or if that wasn't a thing, then he'd still be the same tier I literally put him in. Now, he does have the ability as well to interact with traps and such, but you know the rules, and so do I. Now, as I said again, very solid attributes. I mean, the fact that stealth is pretty much horrendously already in the game, and they just gave him 5 just is an icing on the cake for me. Very solid attributes. But as I said, the ability, if you hit a character or a family member, that's great, but if you miss, then that's not really great, huh? So that's why I'd put him in the liberal tier, because despite his ability being a little bit fun to use, it's not really that impactful to the game unless you do the most savior thing as ever. Now, Julie Crawford also being a liberal. Why is that? Now, if this was a Smash tier list, then she'd definitely go into Would Smash or even Pay to Win, but that's unfortunately not the case. Let's take a look at the attributes. Now, unfortunately for Julie Cheeks, the highest attribute she has is Stealth, which is pretty much the most useless attribute in the game, in my opinion. No, it's actually a public opinion, what am I saying? Her proficiency is very low as well. The only thing that's good in her kit is Endurance, and with her ability, which is a little bit too weak to my liking, I mean you can counter Cook and Johnny's ability with it, it's still not good enough. And unfortunately my poor girl Julie was overshadowed for a long time because of Choose Flight before it got nerfed, and I do kind of get the premises of it because Endurance was bugged back in the day and nobody even knew it was bugged, and Choose Flight was pretty much the meta that time. And it was pretty much basically Julie's ability in a nutshell, and the worst part is even Julie herself could get the perk, so pretty much using her ability was like using a used condom. Now, the only time you'll get real value out of her ability is when you're pretty much in the open running forward or pretty much holding W, running away from a Leatherface or Hitchhiker, but otherwise her ability is kinda situational. Because if there's no Cook or Johnny present, or both, or neither, you get the point then either your ability will get its full value, or only 50% of the promised value that the ability describes you. Otherwise, she's fine in the liberal tier. Let's go a tier higher and let's go to the meat shields. Now, the irony of Sunny being in the meat shield tier, knowing he's the victim with the lowest toughness. Irony sometimes writes itself. But when I see tier lists of people, when it comes to Sunny, the amount of discrimination, not in a racist way, it's unbearable. My man has very decent attributes despite having the lowest toughness, like Endurance being 35 and Strength being 35. I think having these two attributes at a high by default without extra attributes, that is massive. Now pair that up with the ability to see and know where everybody is at all times. Now yes, you do have to get the all-knowing in order to know who is what, but honestly, if you're a little bit experienced and you can tell by the movement, you can easily tell the difference between who's a victim and who's a family member. Now, I don't really stand by Sunny's slander because I really think Sunny's underrated, and in the right hands he could become such a menace to society. But if we're counting default attributes and default abilities without perks, then he's fine as a meat shield. Now, Anna, on the other hand, that's a real fucking meat shield if I've ever seen one. Now, her attributes are solid, I'd say. Toughness being 35, I think she's the one with the highest default toughness. I mean, it does kind of make up for having an ability called Pain is Nothing. Now, of course, she is the original Maria Flores as in attributes because Maria kind of borrowed her, but then again, the Flores gene should not be fucked with at all, unless your name is Danny Gaines. Now, overall, her attributes, besides proficiency and endurance being low, she's literally made to fight and distract, so the ability, the attributes, they all add up very perfectly. Now, the difference between the Honor ability and Julie's ability when it comes to the value you can get, Sissy, her poison, or just getting poison in general, is one of the most annoying things to go against as a victim, and just purifying the poison, especially when you're dealing with a Nancy and Poison Claws, that can be a truly lifesaver. I know comparing them with Julie's ability in terms of value is a little bit weak, but I think poison attacks are way worse than getting tracked the whole time. I mean, you can basically counter Cook's ability and John's ability by crouching, and poison attacks, well, it's kind of hard to say, just avoid the attacks. I mean, I guess I can just crouch past the attacks, huh? Now, if we don't include the whole poison thing, Anna's ability, you'll still get a huge value out of it, and I think, despite her weaker attributes, I think she is fine in the middle tier, aka Meat Shield. Welcome home, Anna Flores. Oh goody, it's time for the Root Smash tier list! And starting off with my personal victim main, Leland. I love playing Leland. I adore whoever voiced him because they did a phenomenal job. I am happy to be a Leland main because barging family members has never been so much fun in ages. Now, the name of the ability Lifesaver, it definitely fits the ability because the amount of times Lelands have saved themselves or I have saved myself using the ability from a Leatherface, it's way too many fingers to cut off from other people. If there's one thing that frustrates me the most as a Leatherface player slash main, it's getting barged by Leland when I hit him with an overhead, or just getting barged in general when an overhead sprinting, because that can kill so much momentum and time, and goddamn, that barge can be either so beneficial, or it can be fucked up and they die. Now, I think Leland's ability, however, has been nerfed the most in terms of cooldown, so you do have to be a little bit resourceful with who you want to barge and who you want to piss all over their body when they're laying on the ground. Now, unless you barge a Hans, then good thing for you. 40 strength is literally the same amount of strength Hans has when you're grappling him. Unless you get touched once by somebody else or him, then, well, good job, you just lost your close encounter automatically. But yeah, I can't recall a single game where a high-level Leland has just not grappled a single family member. I mean, he's just a grapple machine, he's unstoppable. Leland has so much potential, and despite the perk or the ability cooldown nerfs, I think Leland is still a menace. Now, of course, the attributes, once again, strength being high, endurance also being high, lifesavers, but toughness and proficiency being a little low. I mean, it does kind of add up to his character, because if I did read correctly, I think Leland used to use steroids, so that may explain the low toughness, but lore has nothing to do with this whole tiering, in my opinion. But just a fun fact. Joining Leland is, of course, Big Mama MILF Virginia. Of course, the loudest of all victims, constantly yapping about her dead child Jesse, if he's even dead to begin with. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's dead. But I'll gladly be her new child if she wants to be. Anyway, Virginia, attributes, ability. Let's start with the ability. I think her ability is probably one of the most balanced yet most bullshit abilities in the game. I mean, you can be playing Leatherface, and if she times it correctly, she can poop out a bone, or whatever you call that, blue powder. And then, yeah, oh well, you're standing there with your chainsaw, you hit her with an overhead, but what do? Do you go for the swing and stall, or do you wait patiently like a good boy that you are? The amount of times I stalled because of being too greedy for a Virginia kill, knowing damn well I can't rev the chainsaw being blinded, it's to the point where if I actually got money for that, I'd be richer than Bill Gates. Now, the other side of her ability that's barely used to the point it doesn't even exist, I'd say, or I even forget it exists, is the fact that you can also contaminate blood buckets. Now, what this basically does is it just doesn't give blood to the family member harvesting the bucket. But the issue with this is the family can see that the bucket has been contaminated, and also the fact that the contaminated effect doesn't stay forever. So that basically just downgrades her ability. But otherwise, her ability, without that still, it's powerful. Now, attribute-wise, I think she is the strongest in terms of default attributes. High toughness, high endurance, high proficiency. That's pretty much all you need for a victim, low-key. But the reason she isn't S tier to me is the fact that your boons are limited. Now, of course, I don't think as a family man myself, I'd want to go against Virginia, just can keep pooping out or farting out blue powder to blind my ass. But as I say myself pretty much with the blue powder is the fact that even if I do get blinded, I can still see a little bit. Like, you're gonna see this clip. I get blinded by Virginia and I still somehow track her movement very perfectly. She greets the door and then she dies, pooping out another boon. IRL, cause she definitely did not expect my ass to track her fully perfectly. Now, despite the little flaws every victim has, I do still think Virginia deserves the top of I Would Smash. And now, let's go over to the final upper tier, Pay to Win. And speak of the damn devil, it's Sister Fister Danny Gaines. The man that caused the downfall of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, in my humble opinion. I'm gonna be very honest when I look at his attributes. They may look a little bit low, but that's definitely a dangerous fucking mix of witch's soup I'm witnessing here. I think, keyword think, that Danny is the only character where 4 of his attributes are half or above half, which is quite a lot. Now, if there's one thing that actually scares the fuck out of me is a high strength Danny, but we're talking about default attributes, but you know what I mean. If this guy's attributes are like a mix of over half or perfectly half, then you can make something out of this guy. But even with default attributes, this guy is still a danger to society. I mean, he wiped out half of the fucking family mates in this game. I'm not fucking kidding. I am the one living to tell the tale. Now, of course, that's due his ability, tampering. Now, if it's default, then you have to put some effort into studying stuff, but when you build up the tamper meter, oh, you become a menace. Such a menace. Ooh. Now, there's some debate whether Danny counters Hans or Hans counters Danny, which honestly I'm more in for the fact that Danny counters Hans, and this is quite literally proven because of this one short I uploaded, which still gets some negative comments that the game is very victim-sided. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything, but there's definitely some people that are still pissed that Danny can just fucking outplay Hans like fucking fish in a can. But yeah, as long as Danny is pretty much alive, you better keep your shoulders tensed up and your situational awareness high, cause if you let him tamper something, whether you have a hands or not, you better be ready for a fight. And also, definitely keep them shoulders raised when there's a colony into the fray, cause this is the last victim that gets the honor of being in the tier list. The ability to destroy locks or cook padlocks with one simple click followed by brain dead spamming like No Not November just ended, it's incredibly fucking good. I mean, even with the debuffs that apply to the ability, you'll still be fine most of the times anyway. Now, her attributes are very solid as well. I mean, highest proficiency by default next to Danny as well, with high stealth, which can make a very dangerous rush character. It's just the fact that her ability can be such a massive game changer. I am not kidding. If she pops a lock to something or somewhere, then family's gonna lose so much pressure. I'm not kidding. Like, you could be on Nancy's map. All that has to happen, really, if you don't have a cook, is Connie goes up the driveway when the generator is destroyed, pops her ability on the final gate, and she's out. It's that simple. It's like life. Basic, but stupid. Even if you're dealing against a very pro family squad team that knows how to camp, popping your ability on a locked door, whether it's a padlock or a normal lock, it can still be very beneficial, because that's a lot of pressure loss automatically. And even, as I said with the debuffs, if you play it smart with her ability and just don't pop it brain dead in front of a family member, you should be fine most of the times. And with that, the official Dingus Crusader victim tier list has been wrapped up. God damn, this one took a while to make, so I hope it's worth it. And just remember, if you don't like any of my placements, just leave me alone, because it's just pixels, man. Calm the fuck down. Now, on a side note, with TCM's news of no content for mid-May, I am gonna make a channel update video after this soon. When, no clue. But just say Frosty, but don't worry, it's not gonna be that impactful. But I just want to share some thoughts and feelings about the game's state. Anyway, otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and all I can really wish for you to happen is to have a good day, good week, good time, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Have a good one, and bless.